Testing, is everyone able to hear me? Well, thank you so much for coming this morning. It's been a long time since we've had our last efficiency meeting. We were just talking about, I think it might be getting close to 3 years. I have always really enjoyed these, and I appreciate your feedback and your taking the time to come in and meet with me. We have a number of things to go over today, but the important part is that your 5-year renewal is coming up. If you are an older efficient that got your license before 2018, raise your hand if that's you guys. About half, so that's good. And this is a pretty light turnout from what we had. I don't know if it's because people are super busy or because they're just out of the habit of coming and meeting with us, but the people that come today, we would really appreciate you being our ambassadors on the efficient renewal process. Obviously, we're going to do everything we can to make it as clear as possible, but I appreciate you guys explaining anything or letting people know if there's something that can be misinterpreted or upsetting, because you know how rumors go, especially around Las Vegas. Obviously, I'm Lynn Marie Goya. I'm the county clerk, and I welcome you to today's meeting. The things that we're going to cover are just really briefly current trends, the wedding tourism initiatives that we've done this last year, and obviously if the certificate of permission to perform marriages and how to renew that. So just in case you aren't aware, we did reopen our Laughlin office over a year ago, and then we opened our office in Mesquite, which has been closed, I think, for nearly a decade. So we're very excited about that as well. We hope to get a lot of people coming over from Utah and that part of Arizona. And please be however helpful you can to the Mesquite area officiants and wedding professionals so that we can welcome them into the fold. And obviously, a lot of you have been watching the Wedding Tourism Fund that we initiated in 2015. And so this last year, we were allocated $250,000 of the 1.2 million. And this year we got the same budget passed, just the last commission meeting. So we've been using that to do some of these initiatives that I'm going to talk about coming up soon. I'm very excited about it. The community has come together to help us get the word out on things, and I want you guys to be as involved as everyone else. Our goal is to increase our market share. If we had the same market share as we had in 2004, when at our peak, we would have issued about 110,000 licenses last year. So our goal is to get our market share back, get our image back, and make sure that our people know the true value of what Las Vegas weddings have to offer. And you can see that we brought back some. So our goal is to get close to 6%, obviously. We're a long way from there, but the more the community talks about weddings and the more community is involved and the more community loves weddings, the better it is for all of us, because even if they're not getting married in Clark County, if they say, oh, my cousin's getting married, they want a destination wedding, and they can talk on our behalf, that's a really important thing. And I think the community is very excited about weddings at this point. So we have a lot of information. I'm not going to go in great detail about it, but we have a lot of information under our weddings.vegas, our new website. If you go under marriages and you go under statistics, we provide statistics every month on the weddings that we did, the number of licenses that we issued the previous month. Maybe I'm too close. But we also have a database that you can download for each year. It's a pretty clean database, and it has all of the information. We parse it. One of the things that might be of interest to you is where are the people coming from and what zip codes have the best demographics coming to Las Vegas to get married. So if you have a small marketing budget, maybe you want to target one of these counties where we already have a good inflow, but we could have more people coming from. So that's the kind of information that you can download and parse if you're a good dietitian. If not, that's the kind of thing that we're working with the LVCVA and with the local community to kind of say, let's how to micro-target some of these places. So these are the top zip codes from California last year. So it's from Hesperia. It's really kind of, if you look, it's kind of the midsection of California, midsection of Southern California. We obviously lost our international market along with everyone else. And when a typical year before COVID, about 80% of the weddings licenses that we issue are to out-of-state people. And of that 80%, about 20 to 25% have been international. And so by losing that international market, that's a big chunk of the weddings that you guys perform. So during 2020, it got down to 3.3%. 2021, because of the travel bans, it was only less than 2%. But this year we're seeing it's climbing pretty steadily. It's almost 10% again, which is what we were looking for. And we think that if we can get our international market back, that you all should see some increased business. Of the international market countries, it was Canada, the UK, a lot of the UK, and Mexico. Brazil is often in the top 10, France, Ireland, Wales, Poland, and Germany. And France is not in there, but typically, oh yeah, France is on the bottom. So those are the countries that, again, we are micro-targeting for international guests. And if you have any insights or any people that live in those destinations that want to bring some extra couples to us, you know, let's talk about that later, because that's something that we're trying to do, is expand the number of people that are in the wedding business that are actually booking couples and partnering with the wedding industry that's already local. So the Wedding Tourism Fund initiatives, like I said, we got $250,000 the last year and the year before, or actually this year and last year. And so what we're trying to do is raise the profile. So in February, we got a ton of international press. A lot of you guys were involved in that. A lot of you were interviewed for that. So we declared the February as Wedding Month. And the specialty dates for 2/2 and 2/22/22 were really big. We still did the pop-up at the airport. We're going to continue to do that every year. The airport's been a great partner. And we issued 7,605 licenses. So that's the best February that we've had in 20 years, in 2 decades, which is amazing. Here's some of the images from that. We lit the sign pink, white, and red. We have the light bulbs for that. And in honor of the 5 millionth wedding license that was also issued in February, excuse me, we actually got the mural at the Marriage License Bureau. Who has all seen the mural? I hope everybody has. So if you haven't gone to the Marriage License Bureau, just go to see the mural. It's gorgeous. We gave the couple that won the 5 millionth license a key to the county from Commissioner Segerblum. If you notice, he's wearing a Brad Paisley t-shirt, so Brad Paisley got aware of that, and so they reached out to them and flew them back and entertained them at their concert as a special guest. So that was really fun. They're a great couple, young, in love, not a lot of money, so this was a great thing for them, a lifetime experience, and we hope that they can come back to our 5 millionth, our 5 million Love Story celebration in February. So we made a big deal about the 5 millionth license that we were issued. And if you can see, the first million was 1974, so it took us, the county was founded in 1909, so it took till 1974 to reach the first million, 1990, so quite a few years later for the 2 millionth, 3 millionth. It was a decade after that because we were at our peak. 2009, we were even less than a decade. But then as the industry slowed down, it took us till 2022 to issue the 5 millionth. But we hope to get that back rolling again. It'd be nice to be able to issue 1 million licenses every decade. That's the goal. And then the 2/22/22 ended up, if you take out February, the 4th best day of all time since we were founded. And if you think that we were doing double the number of licenses in the previous decades, by getting the 4th, that means that a lot of people showed up, and that's a very good leading indicator of our businesses coming back. If you put in Valentine's Day, I think we still are number 6 or 7. We've been partnering with the LVCVA. Last year, they really jumped in with both feet. So they announced their Forever Happens Here campaign, which we're very excited about. And as you can see, the trend line, that their numbers are in millions, ours are in thousands. So, keep that in mind, but you're looking at the trend line. And so the blue columns are marriage licenses issued. And you can see since 2004, we've really been going down. But the LVCVA visitor volume, Las Vegas visitor volume has been going up. So what we're trying to do is make sure that our trend line matches theirs. And it looks like finally we are on the same path. And that's really important. We've also hired a social media team. I think a lot of them have worked with you already. And please pay attention when somebody gives you a call about media or about social media. These have been great. And we've gotten one that got almost 1 million views. So that's a lot for us to just start a few months ago. We continue to add the special keepsakes. We had a special little party for EDC that Brian here organized, which is fabulous. It was a little bash at the Marriage License Plaza on the evening before EDC, and it was great fun, and everyone seemed to enjoy it. And so we put out a special marriage certificate keepsake that EDC members could pick if they wanted to. So that's really fun, but the 5 Million Love Stories, we still have those. Married in Vegas, we still have those. So we have the special keepsakes for couples that want them, and we continue to do that and make it fresh and fun. Did anyone see the history exhibit? Yeah, I just loved it. And we came up with new information. So we hired a historian, and I've been asking, people have been asking me for a long time, how did Las Vegas become the wedding capital of the world, or when did we start using that? Well, we think we found the first reference from a British paper in 1953, where it says they're now calling themselves the wedding capital of the world. So that means that we've been calling ourselves the wedding capital of the world for a long time. And I think it's deservedly so. If you guys want to talk about this a little bit, we can talk about this. Obviously, it was last week. It seems months ago, and it was huge when ABG approached the chapels and said, cease and desist doing Elvis weddings. And I think they were shocked and appalled at the response from a coordinated response from the community, which I think is fabulous. And that we thought it was really important to maintain that Elvis image for our chapels and for basically the whole community. So we weren't privy to the letter itself or to any of the negotiations. From what I understand, they're negotiating with people. There was something on the news this morning that is a little confusing. I'm not going to repeat it because I'm not sure it's accurate. But I think this is an influx. Does anybody have anything they want to know or want to share about this that has any insight into it? Nope. Okay. Any questions or concerns that you want to talk about this particular activation right now? I think that we have mostly resolved the issue. Obviously, it's between the chapels and ABG. But knowing that the community is really a strong supporter of the wedding industry, the Elvis image for our city as well as for our chapels, I think shocked them and made them kind of step back and rethink what they were doing. So we're very pleased with that. That doesn't mean everything that we have been doing is done. So I've been trying to work with the city for a number of years when they did their overall planning on what were the different segments of the market. That was about 10 years ago. The weddings were not included in that, and I kept saying to the city officials, weddings are a big part of what makes Las Vegas, Las Vegas, and so you need to include it. When they did Brewery Row and Restaurant Row, again, I went to the city council and the mayor and said, we really need to talk about weddings. And I am very, very excited to say that within this month, we think, Wedding Row will be launched. There will be 20 banners. It will be up and down 3rd, Las Vegas Boulevard and Casino Way. And we're very excited about that. And they're gorgeous. So look for that. And then we have been working on this one with the city for almost a year. So this is a heart from the last Life is Beautiful, which was donated to the city, and they want to put it up on the Marriage License Plaza. And I'm very excited to say that all the background has been worked through, and within the next few months, we should have that heart also on the plaza. You know, where the tree used to be, it's going to be there. And I think that will be just iconic and a huge symbol for what makes Las Vegas unique. The 5 Million Love Stories Pass. So we'll talk about this more at the State of the Wedding Industry that's going to be next week on Thursday night at the Tuscany. But we have a pass. Did you pass this out? Yeah, or just distribute some of those. This is a pass that the clerk's office is funding, and so it's free to you and it's free to the user. So don't just put your business on it, but also use it, because the more people use it, the more businesses will think it has value. So tell everybody to use the pass, and it's just free or discounted or whatever you want, actually, about your business. So you can put your business on it. There's the QR code that you can go. It takes about 5 minutes to upload your business. Make sure that you're telling people what you want to offer, and then they click on, when they go to your business, they click on the redeem, and then they can redeem it. So obviously, we want all the chapels and all the wedding officiants to be on there, as well as restaurants and breweries and any other business that would cater to wedding couples. We hand it out with the packet now, but we want it to be larger than that, so it's okay for you to use it. It's not exclusively to wedding couples unless it specifically says that on the offer. So it's free to you, it's free to the couple, and it's a way that we can really broaden the wedding industry. Any questions on that? Yeah, use the QR code to upload your business, and then just go to Pass. You can also put in your personal information to redeem any of those things, and it can be a drink. It's all different kinds of goods and services, and restaurants, drinks. We have redesigned the How to Get Married. So I don't know how many of you guys have come to the clerk's site, downloaded the old How to Get Married, and sent it out through your social media. It's a great marketing tool, because a lot of times people, especially the age that are getting married, have friends that are getting married, and so we just want to make sure that you guys use these tools that we've created on your behalf. Lucky in Love is a promotion that we've been working with the resorts primarily. It's a contest where you go in front of these, and it's on the past 5millionlovestories.com. You go to these locations, you share a kiss, take a photograph of it, put on the hashtag Lucky in Love, and upload it, and then you're entered into a sweepstakes. So that doesn't mean that it can't be your couples. Just because you aren't one of those locations doesn't mean that you shouldn't promote this to your couples, so that they might win a free vow renewal or free return trip to Las Vegas. And it just shows that we're all part of one big community, and we work together and we support each other. And it's a great thing to offer your couples. And then in February, at Bally's, we're going to do a 5 Million Love Stories celebration. We're trying to do the world's largest vow renewal, and we'd like everybody to get involved in that. There'll be a lot of volunteer opportunities, and it should be one of the best parties. We want it to be the best wedding party in the history of the world. So please join us to make that happen, and let us know how you'd like to participate. So the State of the Wedding Industry, we'll go over a lot of this stuff in a lot more detail at the State of the Wedding Industry. That's next week, Thursday night at Tuscany. So I hope to see you all there. Any questions about the background? Pastor Pete. Wait for this, because we tape this.
I got you. On the outside, the mural at the Wedding License Bureau, did you have to pay a franchise fee for Elvis's logo?
We did not. It was up before that. And actually that picture it's a really interesting story, and there's an Easter egg in there as well. So that picture is a unique picture that hasn't been seen before. Jerry Misko is the artist for that. His father's uncle or something like that built the cake for Elvis, designed and built the cake. And so this was personal photos from by the cake maker, by the baker. And so those are his photos, and so it's a unique photo that's never been seen before, and I think that's a great story. But no, we did not. They haven't noticed us yet. So thanks, Pete, for bringing that to their attention. Okay, any other questions about kind of the background stuff? We'll focus on the 5-year renewal now, if there are no more questions or comments. Just 1 second.
That mural, are we able to use that too in our business, like in flyers, or because it becomes recognizable if they already got their license there?
It's part of the Lucky in Love as well, and so yeah, we are a government agency, so it was paid for with government funds. So if you're using the Marriage License Bureau, and when we get the heart as well, if you're using those in, pictures of the whole bureau, then that I would think, I could double check with my RDA.
Yeah, I probably have to.
But yeah, I would think that it's just like any other place, even the Bellagio fountains, people can take a picture of them because they're on a public space.
Yeah.
But let me double check with that. Give Paula your contact information so we can.
I will do that. Okay.
We can triple check that, but I would think because it's on a public government building, that if you take a picture of the government building, there's nothing that we can do or say about that. But let me triple check. Any other questions before we move on, or comments? Okay, so the big news this year for you guys is that this is the 5-year renewal is coming up. So in 2017, the state law changed, so everyone that was grandfathered and had permanent efficiency licensing would be have a 5-year renewal. So they started in 2018 for the 5 years, so those 5 years are up now. And you will be required to update your efficiency licensing to continue to perform marriages. So it's absolutely an imperative that you guys follow this, and please be our ambassadors to let everybody know about it. We've said that it would be the same fee as it was to apply. We are not doing a background check. We assume that everybody's still in good standing with everyone that they should be in good standing with. If somebody is in prison, they probably are not going to be renewing their efficiency license, so we kind of don't feel like we need to do the background check that we do for new officiants. As you know, I don't know if you know the story behind it, but when we took over the marriage certificate processing from the our county recorder, we sent out about 5,000 letters to people, and we got back about 1,500. Well, that's a lot of money for the county to be spending on people that are no longer maybe alive, no longer in Nevada, or no longer interested in being an efficient. And so we worked with the legislature to do the 5-year renewal. We brought that to the efficients meetings, over a number of meetings, and talked to you guys about what the best way to handle it was. And so now we're ready to implement that. What we're trying to do is make sure that the efficients that are active and doing marriages can really kind of rise up out of that whole stream of people that are no longer doing it or no longer interested. Even if you do 1 a year or 2 a year and you want to maintain your efficiency license, there's no limit on how many you have to do, but you do have to reapply. And the main reason is so that we can keep our database accurate, and that we can also make sure that couples who are trying to find efficients, or chapels that are looking for efficients, have actually a good list. And so, as we've been talking about for the number of years, make sure that we have your updated contact information. That's actually critical. If we send out something and it bounces, we can take you off our list within 30 days. That's why this whole process is really important, that we maintain an accurate, up-to-date database so we know who actually is performing marriages and who we need to keep in touch with. So your license, if you are formerly a permanent officiant, will expire on the last day of this year. If you got your license after that, it will expire 5 years after you got your license. So say you got your officiant's license in February of 2018, then your officiant license will be good until February 2023. So we will be sending out notices. We have the notices drafted. I was going to hand the... Okay. We have a draft letter. I wouldn't mind if anybody looks at the draft letter and reviews it, make sure, I mean, we think it's really clear, but we know what we're talking about. So for somebody that's going to get this from the blue, we'd like to make sure that it's as accurate and up-to-date and informative as possible. So please look at the draft letter if you want to, and make comments so that we can make sure that it's as, again, accurate and up-to-date and clear as possible. This shouldn't be anything that's scary or new. We've been talking about this for all 5 years. So let me know if there's anything that is confusing. You will have to go through the online efficiency training class, which should probably take you guys about 10 minutes, and make sure that you know the laws. We don't talk about the religious aspects of the ceremony. We only talk about the legal aspects. So we do want to make sure that you know what the laws are, because sometimes laws change, and we need to make sure that you guys know what those are. Is anybody in here a notary? Yeah, so we are no longer recognizing notaries as distinct from the other officiants. You actually had more expenses and less flexibility than the regular officiant, and so just follow as if you were, we don't care if you're a notary anymore. So you are part of the same thing, and it should be cheaper and easier for you to maintain your licensing. We also no longer need your religious affiliation. We are very happy if you have a church that you regularly go to or that you subscribe to, but really, in my opinion, the church and state need to be separate, so the training course is all about the laws. It's not about the religious aspect at all. If you need help with your religious portion of your wedding efficiency, if you need help with the religious portion of your wedding ceremony, then please reach out to somebody within your congregation or your church or other officiants for help with that, because it's not what the clerk's office will be involved in. We are the only county so far that has implemented the 5-year renewal. You do need to be licensed in the county where you reside. If you reside in another county, then this doesn't pertain to you. And if you get your county your license from the county clerk from the county that you live in, it's good for the state of Nevada. Any questions on any of that? Go ahead. 1 second while you get a mic. I got you.
Okay, thank you. Hi, I'm Richard Walter. Been doing weddings for, almost 40 years now. Question came up the other day as to whether or not a pronouncement needs to be made to pronounce the couple as legally married or husbands or wives or one of each. When I checked the Nevada Revised Statutes yesterday, NRS 122, 110, 120, 130, under solemnization, all it says, to my understanding, is that myself as the officiant and a witness needs to hear the couple declare that they take each other as spouses. I don't need to say anything, don't need to make a pronouncement. I just need to give them the keepsake and file the marriage certificate, and that fulfills the legal requirement of solemnization. I want to make sure I'm correct in that.
So we did just a few minutes ago also look at that, and it appears that that's correct. It says specifically that there's no specific form that your ceremony needs to take, no specific form for the vows. But what we don't have access is the DA opinion, so we want to check that to make sure that there's not a DA opinion that says that there has to be a declaration from the officiant. To me, I don't know why you would not want to do that. That's kind of the fun part of doing the ceremony. And I think it's the fun part for the couple to, have that public pronouncement. But we will be happy to get back to you. Anybody else that wants to have that information, just make sure that Paula or my staff here has your information. We'll send it back. Again, I think it's the fun part, but I think that you're right, that it does appear that you could stand there mute the whole time as long as the couple knows what to do. A lot of times the officiant is the guide, and tells people, here's what you do first, here's what you do second, here's what you do third, so that the couple knows what they're doing. But if you want to be a mute officiant, I suppose that's might be possible. Again, we'll check with the DA opinions that we only have in our printed books and follow up with that. Yeah, we can talk about that in the training. Yeah, absolutely. Any other questions so far? So we have, again, like I said, we have the letters that we've drafted. We have a letter that we've drafted for the previously permanent officiants, and then we have a letter that we are going to truncate for people that have been licensed after that, because they don't need to know all of the background. So if you have any comments or you want to look at the letter, we're happy to take your feedback. It's a draft letter, and if you have a way to improve it, we would just appreciate that. We will be sending those out the first week or so in July. There's about 2,500 letters that will go out at that time. So if you can imagine, we're going to get back 2,000 applications, and we want to make sure that you all get an efficient ID card if you haven't gotten that. So we want your passport photo. We also are moving towards some other tools that you guys can use. So the renewal fee will be $55. You take the online training, you pass it, you make your application, you send in the $55, send us the passport, and pretty much that's about what we need from you. Any questions on any of that? You can take the passport photo with your phone anymore, as long as it fits with our dimensions so that it fits on the business card. There is no background check, as I talked about. The passport quality photos are a color photo taken within the last 6 months. Make sure that the image is clear, not blurry. Don't wear your glasses. Look professional. This is a professional card, so you don't want to look like you just got out of bed. Remove your hat and badges or any identifying information like that, and use a plain white background. Again, any questions? Probably everybody here has a passport photo. It's very similar to that. So those that renew by December 31st will keep their efficient ID. So if you have an old number 1 or number 20, you'll be able to keep that. It will be valid for 5 years. So say you get the letter the first week in July, you go ahead and apply the second week of July, you will still have the same renewal date. So you won't lose a month just because you applied early. So please, give us a break and help us, get these things processed within the same time frame so that you have your efficient license and an ID back by the beginning of the year. So the sooner you fill it out, the better. You do not lose even 1 day by filling it out early. So go ahead.
Do you then have a new renewal date? Right now it's December 31. If I renew in July, what's my 5-year period?
It will be the same whether you renew it in November or whether you renew it in July. We don't take any of those days away because you renewed it early. So it will go back. I think I have it on the next slide. Nope, not yet. It will be the 5 years from January 1. So it'll be it'll start January 1. So if you do not make the deadline, which there's kind of no excuse, but if you don't make the deadline, you have a little bit of a grace period, but really not much. And then if you want to continue performing ceremonies, then you'll have to reapply as if you were a new applicant. So it's not that we bar you or anything, but during that time from January 1 until you get your new license, you cannot perform ceremonies because you're not licensed. So just keep that in mind. You know, a lot of people only do 1 or 2 a year, so maybe they don't know if they want to renew it. There's nothing negative about letting your license expire, and then when you decide you want to come back, just applying, but you'll apply as if you'd never been an officiant. Does that make sense? So it's going to take us about 30 days to process each application, so don't freak out if there's 30 days between when you send it in before you get something back. But if you've gone 30 days and haven't received something back, then just give us a call to make sure that we did get everything and it hadn't gotten lost in the mail or lost somewhere. So we really should be able to process it within 30 days. So if it's 45 days, just, you know, give us a call.
Just curious, now mine expires June of next year, but how early before that can I renew?
We will be sending a letter to every single officiant, and so wait till you get a letter, but we're trying to give like a 6-month, you know, window to apply. So you should get yours about 6 months before your license expires. And then literally you could do it the next day, but it'll still stay with the same date. So just because you renew early doesn't mean that your new date will reset. It will stay the same date because that's a courtesy to us to give us more time. We don't want to penalize you because you were efficient. Did you have a, okay. You'll get a new certificate. You can keep your old one, but you'll get a newer certificate. Again, you'll have the same ID number, and unless you don't want your ID number. And we will give you a new ID card. So everyone going forward will have an efficient ID card. And then here's something that we're working on. I'm not going to give you any date on that, but we're working on the ability to give you an online, on your phone, copy of your ID card. You don't have to do anything separate from that as long as we have all your contact information so that we have your phone number and your email. But we're real excited about this because we think a lot of people will appreciate it. Any questions about that? You don't have to have one. If you do not want one, make sure you let us know, but I think everyone will want one. And that's all we have. Do you have any questions or comments about anything or about the renewal process? You're a very accommodating audience today.
We have one question online. The marriage license paperwork that Nye County has is different than the Clark County paperwork. Does that matter? So,
yeah, each county does their own paperwork, and we have done a couple things that the other counties haven't done yet. For one thing, we've been trying to, we get asked all the time, like how many weddings are at chapels and how many weddings are off the strip and how many weddings are on the strip. And so a couple years ago, we modified our certificate so that we gathered that information so we could start to try to track that. We've added the efficient ID card and gotten rid of a lot of people that weren't licensed that were marrying people. So it's in your best interest that those people are no longer trying to marry people. So we've implemented those kinds of protocols because we think it gives us more information, better information, and we're better able to serve you. Before, how many marriage officiants do we have? And we're just trying to get this. So if your name is John Michael Doe and you put John Michael Doe on one officiant certificate, and then you put John M. Doe on another one, and then you put J. John Doe, J. Michael Doe, those would come up in a database search as 3 different names, even though you're all the same person. So by asking you to put your ID on there, that's the main reason that we're doing that. That makes us able to have a better database of actually who is performing weddings instead of how many people. We just have no way of getting that information. we've been talking about for a long time. We're talking to a vendor, but it's harder than it sounds like, about being able to go online with you guys being able to file online. That's, again, in the process. We'll let you know when we get more information, but that should save you a lot of time, and actually our staff a lot of time and effort. Instead of, I don't know if you know that, but now when we get a marriage certificate, we take a copy of it, excuse me, but then our staff types in all the information. So if they make a mistake typing, that has to be remedied at some point, and it just takes a lot of staff time. So when you have a really big day and we get 1,000 in one day, that's why it takes a while to get those things processed. They're very fast typists, but you know, it's not perfect. So what we've been talking to you guys for a long time about, and we think we'll be able to offer this within a year, hopefully, depending on the vendor, but where you will be able to go online, put in the marriage license number, and have it automatically filled out for you. You'll have your officiant's license, so a digital signature, and we're moving in that direction. Please don't hold me to the year. We've been working on this for actually a number of years now. But that's our goal, to make it easier for you. So when you have a chapel and you are doing 100 marriages per day, and it's the same efficient, you should be able to process those really quickly, and it's more accurate for us and more accurate for the couple. So that's our goal. So we are trying to do more digital, more online, and make it easier and more efficient for you guys as well. Any other questions or anything from online?
Yeah, there's one other online. Can you confirm if the renewal is mailed or emailed? So the answer to that is, if we have a valid email address for you on file, you will get the renewal packet through email, but you are also going to be sent one through the mail, a hard copy as well.
We appreciate everybody giving us their email. A lot of the information we send out, it's so cost prohibitive to mail things like today's meeting, that we really don't do it very often unless it's something critical like your efficiency renewal. So please make sure we have the most up-to-date email address that you have. You know, if you want to create one just for us, that's fine as well. But we appreciate you keeping your information up to date. It's the law, but it also really helps our office, and it helps us streamline and reach out to you on a more efficient basis. Any other questions or concerns or comments?
One more online. One thing that is killing us is the low barrier to entry for friends, family, and out-of-towners getting one-day licensing. This is affecting local officiants financially. Will one-day licenses continue, meaning the single ceremonies?
That's a new question. We have not actually discussed that. That's something that we would actually bring up in an efficiency meeting to discuss. So we would want, if you have any comments about that now, we can take those, but we would probably have an efficiency meeting. That would be a legislative change as well. So before we do any legislative changes, we always have meetings with you guys to make sure that we're representing the desires and wishes of the industry as well as the office. So yeah, we do get a lot of single ceremonies like that. People more and more seem to want that. I wouldn't want them to not come to Las Vegas because they couldn't have their own officiant. You know, a lot of times they want their brother, you know, they want their father, and if Las Vegas doesn't offer that, then are we losing the wedding, or are we just forcing them to have the officiant? So if that's an issue for you guys, please reach out to us and let us hear your input, so that it would be a legislative change. We would have to take that to the legislature.
All right, one final thing for online, just as a reminder for everyone. The question was, how can we update our email or contact information? Very important question. So on our website at weddings.vegas, if you go to the marriage services page under marriage officiants and scroll down to that page, you'll see a resources section at the bottom. There is an information update form. You can print that out. You can mail it to our office. You can drop it off at our office, scan it and email it however you want to. But very important that you keep all your information up to date with our office. If you're unsure, can't find the form, call our office, 671-0600, or mail clerk officiants at clarkcountynv.gov.
Did everyone get that?
Also, I'm going to be emailing a PDF copy of this PowerPoint along with the update form and the other information that we have out there. So online, and anybody who's here, actually the entire list will get it within the week.
And I think that what you're holding is the draft of the letter. Oh, that's outside. Yeah, you don't have to take one. You're going to get one in the mail. You're going to get it through email. So don't take it if you don't want to. It may have some minor changes. The information should be all there. Again, if you have any comments about how it could be more clear or more helpful to people, let us know before we send it out. We plan to send it out, again, the first week in July, and that gives everybody 6 months. Any other? Go ahead, Brian.
Thank you for doing this today. It's great to be here. Real quick, just some information on the one-day license thing, because the question came up, and I know a little bit about this. It is in the law that, yeah, the one-day licenses can take place. Realize that the problem you go with if you get rid of them is the cannabis industry is finding out right now, because they're allowing outside of Nevada people to apply to be cannabis lounges, and a lot of people here are not happy about that. But they're doing it because if they don't, then they're going to start seeing lawsuits. And if we're discriminating against people from out of state being able to come in and perform ceremonies when they can do ceremonies in their own state, then the concern is that you're going to open up yourself up to lawsuits. So now you're looking at bad press, you're looking at all kind of bad things. So it probably would be in the best interest to kind of look at the statistics and see what's the percentage of the number of those weddings that are being done by one-time licenses out of state, and then see how big of a real problem it is in the industry, and then we can approach it that way.
We do get quite a few. But again, they use all the wedding services. So, I'm not sure what the best solution is. I think that would be something as an industry that we would need to discuss if we decide that it really is an issue. I think more and more people do want to have somebody performing their ceremony. I think what we can do on the chapel level, or, a wedding planner, is say that having a licensed officiant even with your person will help them through the ceremony, because from what I hear, and I don't go to every ceremony, but from what I hear, that those people that have never done it before really don't know what they're doing, and so they can make mistakes or not know how to guide them through it. And the officiants are not that expensive. They, if they're coming all the way out here, they might want an officiant with them to just make sure that they are doing everything correctly, and not making people stand the whole ceremony because they forgot to tell them to sit down, but just simple things like that. So I think that might be a better tool, is how do we didn't mean to have that. How do we get the single ceremonies to take advantage of our expertise? That's my phone, so I don't know if you can even get to it. Oh, I can. There. Forgot. I don't use my watch like that. Okay. But yeah, I think maybe that's something that we should try to do as an industry, is promote, here's a way that you can have your father or whoever do the ceremony, but make sure that it's as high quality as if he was a professional. So again, that's something as a group that we should be trying to figure out how we can address, because I think it's going to happen more and more, frankly, because people do seem to want that.
May be fortunate to win, but that's how we do it. I stay there. I'm there for the ceremony to guide the person through the things that you mentioned, AV, logistics, and things of that nature, and it really helps.
And then we need to figure out how to let people know that, so that we can do that in a soft way, if you know what I mean. Any other comments, questions, concerns, issues that are coming up? Sherry?
Ever go back to having certified copies on Saturday and Sunday?
Can you put it?
To get a certified marriage certificate on Saturday and Sunday?
You can through the kiosk.
Oh, if we take it to the bureau, they will
Oh, process it right
record
then?
it, because Okay, and then I can get it out of the kiosk.
Yeah, you can have Paula answer that. Everyone's going to have these same questions, so let Paula respond.
So in the Marriage Bureau, the supervisors or the seniors will file certificates on days when the government center is closed. Once it's filed, you can purchase it out of the kiosk immediately. So
You need to let them know that you need it right then, right? Expedited, just like you do when you go down, come up here. Wait, please respond into the,
So window 1 is only open on Fridays when the government center is closed, the Monday through Fridays. So if it's a holiday, the supervisors will do it. Just let them know that you need to file a certificate and purchase it right away, and we can do that. So that'll be evenings. Fridays, usually window 1 is open. Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is recorded, so we need you to speak into the microphone so that everybody can get these questions answered.
So, just curious, yesterday I was at the Marriage Bureau with a couple that had a problem with their marriage certificate. And we waited in line. There were only 2 windows open and a lobby full of people. And our weddings are coming back, our international guests are coming back. And I'm just wondering if we're going to get more windows open soon.
That's another Paula.
I can address that. We are very short-staffed. We have 5 openings in the Marriage Bureau right now. We're doing interviews. With the Marriage Bureau being open 7 days a week, it is really hard to compete with other departments to get people to hire on. We are doing the best that we can, and you know, if we can move people around and we're going to have to be having people come in for overtime, we're going to be doing that.
Yeah, we're down staff, as everybody probably in this room who is hiring people. It's been difficult for us. Our staff isn't paid, you know, it's an entry-level position. It isn't paid any different than other entry-level positions that can work 4 days a week. All new staff, it's you bid on your schedule. So obviously new staff are the last people that get to bid, so typically they get nights and weekends and holidays. So if you can get a job with nights and weekends and holidays, or you can get one that is same pay, same benefits, 4 days a week, we're losing a lot of people that way. I have actually talked to county management about how we can address it, because we are down and we're very short-staffed. And especially at the Marriage License Bureau, when we're open 8 to midnight, 365 days a year, being down one person really hurts. So we've made some accommodations. The county has allowed us to make some accommodations, but this is, at least at this point, this is a long-term problem that we are working with HR, trying to work with HR, trying to work with the county management and let them know the issues that are unique to our office, or not unique, but you know, unique to the offices that need to be open, like Health and Human Services and Child Protective Custody and those kinds of places, because they have the same issues. But we absolutely understand the issue. We don't want couples to wait, but we are doing our best.
There's one other question online that, are we still using a removal form when an officiant passes away or moves out of the county? Paula, do we still have that online?
Online right now. I think
All
the
right.
new website, it didn't make it online.
So we'll make sure that there is a form available online if anyone has to fill that out. If somebody is going to be expiring and they're no longer an officiant or no longer live here, our process will simply expire them at their expiration date. But if somebody is aware, you know, a church or chapel or somebody, an officiant that has passed away or no longer here, please contact our office at, again, clerkofficiants@clarkcountynv.gov, or give us a phone call. We can provide the right paperwork if you can't get what you need. There's another question. Will there be a window for couples that are getting married right away, like a special pass? And I think the answer to that right now is no. Unfortunately, we cannot accommodate that. Per Paula's comments, our staffing is way too critical at this point to allocate a window and a staff member for any special certain function.
We do try to accommodate and add extra staff when we know it's going to be busy. It's been on the news, there is an uptick with COVID cases, so we have had people out with that as well.
Just that, speaking of COVID, and this isn't on the schedule, but so my brother in Iowa, his daughter was pregnant. They did a baby shower for her. 6 of the people attending the shower came down with COVID, and all of them were vaccinated. So if you need to or think it's important to re-implement some of the COVID protocols. I know nobody wants to wear a mask at the wedding, but maybe you can ask for their guests to wear masks. Remember, COVID is back. The last thing we need is to have any COVID associated with Clark County weddings. And so far, we've been really good about keeping everyone safe. We don't want to lose that gold star. But you might want to think about implementing additional safety protocols so that we don't have something like that come to a Las Vegas wedding and get that. And you know it's going to get press. If that happens, we know it's going to get press. So, I'm not telling you what to do, but, think about how we can continue to be operating safely.
Comments and other questions regarding single ceremonies that are coming in online, so I think we're going to have that as a separate topic to discuss.
Yeah, well, at the next efficiency meeting, we'll make sure that that's something that people can talk about, and let's try to think about what are the solutions that we can bring forward that make sense for the industry as a whole, as well as for a lot of the officiants that depend on this as their bread and butter income. Sorry about that. Okay. Anything else before we adjourn? I absolutely appreciate you coming. I know that it's a big chunk of your day. Thank you for coming. Please be the ambassadors on this whole efficient training. I don't want anybody to be afraid or scared or nervous about what's going to happen. It should be really smooth as silk, and I hope it's going to be a benefit to everyone as we kind of reduce the number of names that are no longer interested in being in part of the industry. So thank you very much.